Hello, dear friends, and welcome to what is sure to be another award-winning edition of Trust the Tape with me
My name is Jeff.
and my friend Bryan Broaddus, former Cowboy scout, by the way.
Hey, Bri.
Hey, Brian.
Jeffrey, good morning.
Good morning. We can't skip past what was the headline over the weekend, Brian, but I want to start with something that's going to be highly offensive to most of our audience, maybe all of it, maybe none of our audience, maybe some of them. KaVontae Turpin was arrested.
I was partying with him.
Brian was partying with KaVontae Turpin, who was arrested now in Texas.
I got away. Turpin needed to be a little quicker, needed to be a little bit more thinking on his feet. I was able to kind of get out the back door before it all came down. So that's a shame. Shame he got caught.
KaVontae Turpin was arrested for marijuana possession and unlawful carrying of a weapon. Unlawful carrying of a weapon sounds like a bad idea. Marijuana possession, I couldn't care less. He was booked into the Collin County Jail, where I've been, on Saturday after he was arrested for those 2 misdemeanors in Allen, Texas, where I grew up. He was released on Sunday. Here's what I'm going to tell you, okay? I don't want you guys to take this the wrong way. I live in Dallas, Texas now.
Yeehaw.
I grew up in Allen, Texas, okay? In Dallas, Texas, I have been here for, I don't even know, 8, 9 years. I don't think I've ever been pulled over. In Allen, Texas, I would get my registration and inspection updated right after it went out because I would get a ticket the next day.
Sure.
What I am telling you, with no details of what happened to KaVontae Turpin, but what I am telling you is as a man who grew up in Allen, Texas, that don't have a lot to do. It is a nice, incredibly safe area where the police just sit on the shoulder and run tags as you drive by all day. It's what they have to do all day. In Dallas, Texas, they leave me alone because they got stuff to do and my inspection's been out for 10 months. Okay? So, that being said, your only job at this point in the season, KaVontae Turpin, is not to get arrested. You got 1 month between all the other stuff and actual training camp, and you got one job while Bryan Broaddus and all of them are sitting there at the Star, nervous about their players. Like, all we got to do is not get in trouble and get ourselves to training camp. 2 misdemeanors, probably not a big deal. We're going to be fine. You had one job. Don't get arrested. And you did it. It's not good. That's all I got.
Nah, man. You said it well. Interesting. We live in a state where gun laws are a little different than everywhere else in the country. A little different. The marijuana laws are different than other states. But it's the unfortunate part. Listen, I'm not trying to sit there and gloss over anything. But I've been a part of organizations that have gotten far worse news than this. Try and be woke up at 4 a.m. when one of your players took a car and ran through some good Samaritans.
That's not a good day.
No, not a good day. So there are days that are far worse than this one, and Turpin will get through it. It's kind of where we're at now. Every day there's going to be people that are going to get pulled over for a gun and marijuana and stuff and not make the news. He just happens to be a Dallas Cowboy. And it's not about the culture or anything like that. It's not.
I didn't think about that angle, Brian. Brian Schottenheimer's new Cowboy culture, fraudulent.
No, it's not. People choose to live their lives the way they want to live their lives. If he feels like he needs to carry a gun for his protection, by all means, that's your rights. If you feel like, that you want to partake in marijuana, to me, that's your right too. I don't condone you. I don't condone you for that. I mean, make sure you do it in a manner where you're not endangering others. But you know what? To me, it's these guys, they live lives. And some of them live a crazy rock star life. And there are others that don't. And, but when you get pulled over, this is the consequence when all this happens. It's unfortunate. It really is. But like I say, I've been through some of these that are far, far worse with loss of life and ruin of that player's life. So hopefully everything will be okay here. And, we'll carry on here in about 3 weeks and be ready to play football.
Jeremy has a great point, though, Brian.
Yeah.
Why didn't you claim the drugs and the gun if you were there?
I should have. I should have been a better teammate that way.
You weren't a good fall. You got to be a better fall guy.
No, better. I might have told him, "Hey, bro, let me get you home. Let me do something. Let me try and find a way to, if you're a little bit, if partaked a little too much, let me get you home here."
Hey,
and that's
somebody else that's from Allen here said, can confirm my first 2 traffic tickets were in Allen, Texas on the same night.
Yeah. It's, hey, there's certain places you need to be and certain places you don't need to be. So unfortunate. And I don't think this is, like I say, these are, they're considered misdemeanor crimes and stuff. But the fact that the player is, the person is Dallas Cowboy makes it national news.
Call me when it's a felony, baby. That's where I live. Call me when it's a felony.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, don't call me when it's, like I said, I've been through plenty of these. Trust me. And you're disappointed to a point, but these players do lead lives. And they're no different than a lot of people who choose to carry guns and choose to partake in marijuana. That's
everybody.
That's cool.
Just live in Dallas. You'll be fine. Nobody's worried about the weed you got. Nobody search your car. Just live in Dallas. Now, if it comes out that there's something wild happening, I take all this back. But for now, my official stance is if you're in Allen, Texas, you're just going to get pulled over all the time because they're bored.
Yeah.
Dallas, Texas are going to let you make it. All right, Brian, what else are we doing today? Come on. Come on, baby. What else are we doing today?
Why should we drink the Kool Aid, or why should we not drink the Kool Aid this year?
Okay, you want individual anything about this?
I just we always, this time of year, we're finishing up June radio, we're into July, we got a couple of weeks, and now we're in a situation of like, do we really want to believe or do we not want to believe? And we always talk about the Kool Aid. What's got you wanting to drink the Kool Aid, and what's got you not thinking about taking a sip?
Well, I'm a pretty low-hanging fruit guy, Brian. What's got me drinking the Kool Aid is I think George Pickens being on the same field as CeeDee Lamb for Dak Prescott is super duper 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 super duper fun. I don't think you could have something that fits better than a go get the ball guy and one of the best receivers in football. Like, there's nothing better that could happen for George Pickens than to play on the same offense as CeeDee Lamb. It's perfect. You got a route running dude that's one of the most hellified receivers in football. And so the entire defense all week is talking about 88. And any play that you are left singled up with George Pickens is a play that I think Dak is going to look at that, smile, and throw that thing high and far. That's my favorite part about the offseason by far, is not just
not the coaching changes. Not the coaching changes.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because I won't back off of my take yet. It seems like Brian Schottenheimer is very likable. Everybody is excited about him, and I love that. But I do go back to how they arrived at the Brian Schottenheimer thing, that 31 other teams had no interest in him as an NFL head coach, and Jerry Jones was just like, we know him, we like him, we'll go for that. And I think that's a crappy way to do a head coach search. There are parts about their coaching staff that I like. I like that they went outside the box and didn't just hire his buddies or Jerry's buddies or whatever. So there's stuff about that I like. But if you want real optimism, it's the dudes on the field. And it's the fact that they looked at, okay, second wide receiver. We've been talking about it for a couple of years now. We don't really have, we got CD and a bunch of maybes is what Clarence Hill goes with. And they addressed it in the strongest way you possibly could. And the fact that it could blow up is also fun for me because we're content creators and we like that sort of drama. So to me, it's George Pickens by a mile. That's my biggest reason for optimism, is because you have the opportunity to have a passing game that if you got to hang 35, okay, I can do that. That sounds fun. I have lots of reasons I'm not drinking the Kool Aid, so I'm spending a lot of time on George Pickens.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't, because you convinced me when we started back doing Trust the Tape, as we were working through the draft process. You were convincing me that I needed to draft Tyler Booker at right guard. You were convincing me that, like, listen, man, hey, I don't have a problem with this. If you want to tell me we're going to draft a big mover of people at right guard, I don't have a problem with this. So is that where does the Tyler Booker level of excitement of drinking Kool Aid fall into your thoughts?
It helps me. I do think there's going to be a lot on the offensive tackles. Those are the ones I'm worried about. My favorite thing about Tyler Booker being
so you're not drinking the Kool Aid on the tackles. You're drinking Kool Aid on the inside three.
Yeah, I'm drinking the Kool Aid on Tyler Booker because as we were building up to the Cowboys in this year's draft,
yeah, I remember we had
almost
this conversation.
Any name you threw at me, I was like, yeah, but not at 12. Yeah, but not at 12. Yeah, but not at 12. And with Tyler Booker, I think there's also an element of that, but it was just such a weird draft class that no matter who they picked, I was just going to be like, that would have been great at 25. And the fact that they went boring in this particular class, I like it. Because I also think that the Cowboys are in a spot where you couldn't afford to miss. You've done it too much lately. You've half-assed off seasons with free agency and trades. You haven't drafted well. You can't afford to miss. And so even if it's going to be at a less valuable position and even if it's whatever, they can't miss. They needed to hit. And I think Tyler Booker can play NFL football today. When they drafted Tyler Guyton, I said, okay, maybe if he develops and in year 2, you want to put him out there. But if you play him as a rookie, good luck. And they played him as a rookie and good luck. Tyler Booker's ready to play NFL football. I ain't worried about him.
Would you have drank the Kool Aid if they drafted Ted McMillan?
Somewhat.
Because that you wouldn't have got Pickens likely. But
yeah, I would rather have George Pickens easily.
Easily.
Like, no, Ted McMillan comes with 5 years of control at a low contract number and George Pickens. But for the year of our Lord 2025 football season, I'd rather have George Pickens, and it's easy. I think he's a better player.
Drinking the Kool Aid on his use or how they'll use him.
Okay, so this is going to be part of the reason I'm not drinking the Kool Aid, and I'm drinking the Kool Aid. My specialty.
Okay.
This is a hot dog bun situation.
Okay.
Part of the reason that I am drinking the Kool Aid on George Pickens and how they're going to use him is the fact that for a head coach who preaches about the importance of balance in the run game and establishing the run, I don't think they did a lot to actually be wanting to do that. And I don't think you're going to be able to run the ball great. And so I think you're going to end up winging it around. And if you're going to end up winging it around, have your overpowering the best thing about you be the guys that you have to wing it around to. Because I don't buy, like I don't know why I clicked it wondering, but I think it was ESPN today did like, it's still list season until you get to training camp. And so it was like the best 10 running backs in the NFL. And I was like, yeah, but did they do like also votes? And so they listed like a total of 25 guys. And I'm like, how many votes for any of the Cowboys? And the answer is 0. Like they brought in a bunch of budget running backs that had fallen off on other teams that other teams probably weren't calling or were calling and offering league minimum. And they're going to sell that as, no, we're good there. We got these nice veteran running backs and boy, they sure do look rejuvenated. And I'm not buying any of that. So I think you're going to end up winging the ball around. And if you're going to end up winging the ball around, let's have monsters at wide receiver. So that's part of my Kool Aid. Part of my Kool Aid is I don't believe in their running game. So I believe that George Pickens is about to eat. And the team, I don't think they have any idea what they're going to do when that happens. When George Pickens goes for 1,309, 9 touchdowns, 1,300 yards, I don't think the budget conscious Cowboys have any clue what they're going to do next. Are you going to pay? You going to pay him? Once you pay Micah, are you going to pay George Pickens? Are you prioritizing Deron Bland? Is it time to worry about Tyler Smith? Like they'll get to the point where it'll be in the paper all the time where it's like, I just can't pay all these guys. So we got to figure out which guy we're going to let go. I don't think they have any idea what they're going to do if George Pickens goes ham this year. Just walk.
Does that bother you?
It'll bother me later. It doesn't bother me today. We're going to go play football first. It will bother me later because I don't think they have a plan for what they're doing with Bland. I think Tyler Smith is a no-doubter. I don't think Bland is. I think Diggs is on his way out. And I think they have no idea with George Pickens. I think they have no idea. And it's a weird – see, you're going to make me get upset right now, and there's no reason for this. It's a weird trade if you're not planning to try to keep him.
I know.
Give up a 3 to get back a future 3 or 4 a year after he leaves as a comp pick. Like, that's not a great plan unless you are Super Bowl hunting. And if you're Super Bowl hunting, I don't think your running back is Javonte Williams. I don't think you don't have competition at left tackle. I don't think you don't add a real defensive tackle to help that group, a veteran guy that can play. Like, I don't think they did enough to be a real life Super Bowl team, but then they made a trade that is a chase a Super Bowl trade. So I just don't think all their things line up.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll get mad at Jerry about that at some point. I haven't had a Jerry rant in a while. Maybe just have to crank up for one of those.
Yeah. I want to believe that they would try and sign this guy. I want to believe that.
Me too. Life's fun with kick-ass receivers. But is he going to I don't like to dampen people's parties. I'm super excited about watching George Pickens play on the Cowboys.
Sure.
But the number of fans who are totally dismissive of the Steelers suck at wide receiver right now.
Yeah.
They traded for an older version of the guy they traded away, gave him the contract that the younger version wanted, and still don't have any other receivers. If you think life's perfect and he's going to be an angel and a saint, okay. But a team gave him away for fairly cheap while replacing him with an older version and giving the money he wanted to the older version and not to him, and was like, and we don't even need a second wide receiver. It might not be perfect. Might not be perfect.
Yeah.
But we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun no matter what. Do you think that they'll re-sign him? If it goes well, do you think that they'll re-sign him? Because Jerry is very receptive to bad PR. And I think if he goes nuts and you don't sign him, everybody's going to be mad at you, and he doesn't want people mad at him.
Well, he's not getting killed on the Trey Lance trade. I mean, people are –
everybody else is letting it go. I don't let it go.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If, I think if Pickens – like if he has a big year – I think Jerry figures out a way to sign him, but can he afford 2 receivers making, say, $28 million and the other making $30 million? Can he afford that?
Don't ask me Cowboys salary cap questions.
I know.
Brian. The answer is absolutely, but they might absolutely tell you that it's not doable. But the answer is it absolutely is doable. And then name the next player you want to sign. Absolutely, it's doable. We just got to take our pain in 2030.
I just wonder who is the player that's likely to get tagged in all this.
Bland would be a tag candidate. I could see it being Bland. Bland is the one that I feel
Bland over Pickens.
Oh, I was thinking sign George Pickens and tag Bland. Or do it the other way
are you going to sign Parsons, by the way?
I would have signed Parsons for 37.
Well, no,
I would have saved him for cheaper before. Yeah.
Yeah, before. Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I would sign him today and tomorrow and the next day. I'd probably sign him.
Sure.
Why? Are you trying to trade him so you can keep George Pickens?
I just wonder if there's a creative way. We've talked about this before. I just wonder if there's a creative way to kind of keep all 3. I personally feel like that the guy that values money more is Parsons. So anything that I have to do to kind of like, we talked about this whole thing with tagging him. It saves you the $40 million, but all that money comes forward. Yeah, it's all guaranteed. But does it give you flexibility to do other things? And I think the one thing is Parsons, I don't think Parsons, he'll hold out, but he's not going to hold out. He's going to hold in, which I think he's not going to. Parsons does not want to miss an opportunity to make money. I think he's the one guy that I think does not want to hold out. I mean, hold out and miss game checks.
Right.
I would gamble. I would be willing.
And not even just money. I think he's a psycho competitor, and he'd lose his mind if you were playing football.
Well, but I also think, like I said, the fact that he shows up for things because he doesn't want to get fined, I think that tells you a lot.
Sounds smart to me.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. Like CeeDee Lamb was willing not to be at training camp.
Right.
He was willing not to be at training camp.
Yeah.
I don't see Micah wanting to get fined $50,000 a day. I don't see that. I see him as a guy that kind of values a buck.
Oh, you're telling me that Micah Parsons is greedy, selfish.
Not greedy or selfish. I think he's very, very savvy when it comes to these things. And I wonder, I would gamble. I would willing to gamble that he doesn't want to miss game checks. That's what I would willing to do. Where I think maybe others might. Yeah.
I'm willing to miss game checks, but my game checks aren't as big. Super chat. He says you're the hot dog of cowboy podcasters.
Thank you.
I would just like to know who's the bun.
Hmm.
Did Brian hear McShay's story about Gruden? I don't know what that means.
What's the story? If somebody can enlighten me on that, I would sure like to know. No, I did not read Todd McShay this morning or hear Todd McShay.
Are we married to our tight ends, or can we get better? From Night 405. That seems like a roster that's got all the names it's going to have on there, right? It's got all. I
think you're married to these guys right now. Yeah.
Brian was Captain Thunder the whole time. You may not be familiar with Captain Thunder. He watches the DLS Cowboys podcast, and he loves to give us between $5 and $10 a show, so that we have to read him saying that Dak is greedy and overpaid, and he just spends his day talking about him being greedy and overpaid. See, Nesto knows too. Brian is the Captain Thunder for Micah. Yeah, well, yeah, you're Captain Thunder. You're saying he's greedy.
Is that a good thing?
No, it means you're calling the players greedy and selfish. And
no. I think the players, it's amazing to me how the Cowboys have painted themselves into this corner.
Yeah.
It's fascinating that in real life negotiations with Jerry's businesses, Top Shelf, and the fact that they bumble this thing around the way they do, they painted themselves into a corner. They've got people. If you're a high level player, an agent with the Dallas Cowboys, there's no need to hurry. No need. No need at all.
We're gonna get all the dollars right here at the end.
It's funny. Dak asked. This is what the contract goes. Asked for it, and what the Cowboys do, they gave it to him. It's not. I never fault somebody for asking for something, and then I'll tell you one thing. I've been in negotiations where I've taken it like, okay, if you don't feel like you're going to pay me what I'm worth, I'm going to find other things to do too, to supplement.
I've been in similar situations, Brian, and I just left. It happens.
No,
sometimes.
but that's what's saying. If you don't feel that I have value to you, then I'm going to find other ways to enhance my value or what I perceive as my value. And I can say, I think the Cowboys, I think Stephen Jones is frustrated, and it's their own doing. It's their own doing. And I think that's what he realizes now. It's their own doing. He doesn't get to do something he's really, really, really good at, and that's negotiate. In business world, they negotiate. They're really good at it. I've seen him do it. Seen him close deals before the business world. In this world, they get crushed.
Yeah.
So,
Kyle wants to know what Clarence does for energy all the way into his 60s, because good Lord, that guy has so much. The answer is I've begun bringing him my Spark, which is a fruit punch flavored energy drink. Plus he's ADHD. He's a psychopath. He has too much energy on his own. And sometimes he sneaks a 5-hour energy after I give him the Spark. And it's not okay.
Never been with somebody, never worked with somebody or known somebody that will ask you your opinion.
Yeah.
And then fight you on your opinion.
That's because you think he's asking you because he's asking you.
He really is. There's
He's
times where
asking
he's
you
like,
so he can
yeah,
tell you something.
yeah. Well, they just tell me something, man. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm like, just tell me, man. I'm
Yeah,
cool.
you think he's coming to you because he's looking for information. Like, Brian, what do you
Yeah.
think about? And then you start to
Mm-mm.
answer, and he hits you with, "No, no, no. Oh, I'm sorry. I was
Yeah.
just telling you what I." Okay, all right. How about that?
Yeah.
Cowboys Kool Aid. I have one because
Mm.
I think you're the right man for the job. Once again, in list season, this is actually just a republishing because they had published this a while ago. They just tweeted it today, so people are talking about it. Cowboys defensive line 12th in the NFL according to Pro Football Focus. That's mostly because
Kool Aid, huh?
exists, but they even note in there could be significantly higher if they play better run defense. You drinking Cowboy Kool Aid that the run defense will be improved.
I am drinking Kool Aid. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah,
I think they've got some pieces in place. I'm going to buy into these running backs.
You're buying some of the run defense.
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm going to buy into
on some of their budget guys.
Linebackers. They're linebackers. I'm sorry. I'm buying into the linebackers. I just said running backs. I meant linebackers. I'm buying in on the linebackers. I think we're going to see help from Nealon, and I think you're going to see help with Turner, and I think you're going to see help with these linebackers.
Yeah.
That's
which means Donovan Ezeraku is going to start playing snaps in his second year with the Cowboys and not a bunch in his first year.
I think to me that with Ezeraku, I think the learning curve, I'm Kool-Aiding him because I feel like he knows already how to rush the passer. Yeah. I don't think you have to teach him how to rush the passer. I think Marshawn Nealon, you had to teach him how to rush the passer.
Yeah, Ezeraku can show up on a Sunday without practicing, and you'd be like, "Hey, it's third down. Go get the quarterback," and he'd be like,
"He has a feel." I'm Kool-Aiding him. I'm going to Kool-Aid Sam Williams too.
Oh, see, we're cooking now.
Yeah, I'm going to Kool-Aid Sam Williams. I'm not going to Kool-Aid Micah getting signed early though. Not going to Kool-Aid that.
No. We'll do 2 weeks of training camp without him being out there.
And that's going to be a shame. That's going to be a shame because what's going to happen is every day, Brian Schottenheimer is going to have to answer that question with that man standing there. And Jerry and Steven are going to have to see that man standing there too. You know, they're going to go up and talk to him and all that and try and kind of figure things out. But that's going to be something that's going to dominate camp. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on Micah Parsons hold-in news every single day. I'm not doing that.
Brian, the final thing that I have for you on this episode of Trust the Tape, an award-winning episode of Trust the Tape, I'll have you know. I'm declaring it early. I don't know what the awards are for podcasts, but we're going to get one for this one. Do you have all of your toes and fingers after the 4th? And did you have a hot dog on the 4th?
Did not, Jeff. And I'm going to be real honest. I would love to have had a hot dog. Didn't have the opportunity, but nothing better than a hot dog. You're right about that. But I'm in this weight loss thing that I'm doing, and I've lost like 15 pounds. 15 pounds.
You claiming hot dog would have hurt that?
I think so, because I'd have had like 5 of them.
Yeah. I had some hot dogs on the 4th, and I had a couple more on the 5th.
How was the Kaboom Town experience with the hangar situation?
Left before the fireworks. Went to Kaboom Town. Did the air show part and then bailed and went out on Lake Louisville for fireworks the next night on the 4th. So we did get fireworks, but that one was hung out. It was a gathering where they said no alcohol, which I was like, oh, that means they had an incident last year. So I snuck the fireball in the bottom of a cooler along with my sparkling waters, and we enjoyed the air show and then took off.
Well, good for you. No, I did not have one, but I'm on this program. I'm trying to get fit where I look better at training camp this year. So I've got about 3 weeks to go.
I think you're looking good.
I'm trying my best.
You're withering away in front of us, Bryan.
I'm trying to get thinner. I'm trying to get so then we get to camp and we get to the rudder room and things like that, you know.
Yeah, that way you can hammer down drinks there and
get bloated, again.
Get fat Absolutely. With me. I'm gonna get fat.
There you go.
All right, Bryan, have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you for
enjoy the Kool-Aid.
The people appreciate you. And I'm just here to talk to Bryan so that you guys can see Bryan.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
all right.
And prayers, by the way, with the people in Kerrville in that whole area.
That sucks.
It's
Mother
bad.
Nature is a MFer and
Yep.
not going to beat it. And I wish we had more warning of what was coming. And I wish we did something. I don't know. I'm not trying to put blame on it. It just sucks. So
It sucks.
T's and
Yeah.
B's.
It does.
Everybody remember, you have no idea what anyone's